Live from WRAL News Headquarters in Raleigh, your number one source for local news. WRAL News, coverage you can count on.
Get ready to ring in the new year with WRAL's first night Raleigh celebration. We'll give you a first-hand account of what you can expect as the festivities get underway in a short time.
And we, of course, are watching our forecast very closely here for New Year's Eve and first night. We are already seeing temperatures in the mid-60s. We will time out, though, if we can see any rain this evening coming up.
The Triangle is growing, and so is our airport. A look at what's attracting new airlines and shops to RDU International. Right now, let's give you a live look from Thailand, where it is almost time to ring in the new year. Nationwide events include fireworks over there on the riverfront in Bangkok, performances by Thai and international artists, and much more. The celebration will also include cultural performances and drone light shows.
Within 10 seconds of that countdown as it gets ready to fire off those fireworks right there at midnight, and I think they're about to go.
Yeah, let's watch it together if we're just seconds away from the start, and it looks like they're firing up those fireworks.
And here comes the fireworks right now. They're in Thailand.
Wow.
There you have it.
It is 2025 there in Asia. Good afternoon and welcome to the last new newscast of 2024. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Renee Chu.
And I'm Ken Smith. The skies were clear in that live shot, and we're also looking forward to mild weather for our first night celebration.
It really is going to be ideal. Meteorologist Anthony Baglione is in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with a quick look at our forecast.
Yeah, we have a good one on the way for us, guys. We step outside after this afternoon. Already we are seeing temperatures in the 60s across our entire viewing area this winter, most of our viewing area, I should say. We're at 55 in Roxborough, 64 degrees in Raleigh and Durham. I did bump our high temperature up just 1 degree to about the upper 60s, 69 degrees, maybe getting close to 70, but I don't think we'll quite get there today. We take that live look, though. Pinehurst, you can see definitely a little bit breezy, but we have some cloud cover hanging on there. Otherwise, lots of sunshine as we head through the remainder of today. One thing to keep in mind, though, as we get closer to this evening, there's going to be a cold front coming through. Once that cold front gets near us, we could see a few bubble up showers and maybe a thunderstorm or two. There is 7 o'clock this evening, though. If you are headed out to first night, this is kind of the time period we're going to be watching closely. But we get to about 8 o'clock. Some of those may get closer. You see Wake County right there with Raleigh. We could see a potential for some showers and storms. It is not enough, though, where I would change your plans this evening. It's going to get out of here really, really fast, 9 o'clock, and then by the time we get to midnight, we are completely quiet with clear skies. We're going to time this out, though, a little bit more in detail and talk about the rest of this week coming up here in just a few minutes.
In less than 12 hours, people in our viewing area will welcome a new year, but you don't have to wait until midnight to get the party started. Family fun on Fayetteville Street begins at 2 o'clock this afternoon. WRAL's Sarah Kruger live in downtown Raleigh, where the mood is absolutely festive. Sarah, good afternoon.
Ken, good afternoon. This street has undergone a total transformation in the past 24 hours. Take a look behind me. You can see all of the food trucks that are set up, getting ready to serve people. And behind us, all the way here, the striking Ferris wheel where you can get those high up views of the city. We're just 2 hours away from the start of the festivities out here. WRAL First Night promises something for everyone. It'll have indoor and outdoor events, including stand-up comedy, bands, performances, fireworks, and the iconic Acorn Drops. The early one is at 7 p.m. and then, of course, at midnight as well. Out here today already, people are coming out to take a look at the setup, building excitement for what's to come.
Is this your first time coming out?
Yes, I'm new to Raleigh, and I just want to stay here forever now. It seals the deal for sure.
And here's a reminder put out by Raleigh Police on X. You can sign up to get text message updates about First Night. Just text First Night to 888-777 like you see on your screen. They'll let you know about any delays or any inclement weather, but it sounds from Anthony like we don't have to worry too much about that. Now, a lot of the festivities out here this afternoon, this evening, they are free, but if you want to ride things like the Ferris wheel behind me here, you will need tickets for that. We have all of the information on how to buy those on our website, WRAL.com. Just look for this story. Sarah Kruger, WRAL News, live in downtown Raleigh.
It'll be a fun time. We will bring you live team coverage from downtown Raleigh from the start of the events this afternoon all the way through midnight. Dan Haggerty and Ashley Rowe will bring you the fun and excitement from the state's largest New Year's Eve celebration starting on our 4 p.m. news. Then at 7 p.m. we'll have a special newscast to celebrate with the early children's acorn drop and, of course, fireworks. Then as we count down to midnight, we'll have live coverage on Fox 50 from 10 to 11 p.m. and right here on WRAL from 11 until just after midnight. We'll have surprises and celebrity guests you won't want to miss.
Two families are mourning and asking for answers after a double homicide in Hillsborough. 16-year-old Zakira Wardlow and 20-year-old DeAnthony Morgan were found shot yesterday morning. WRAL's Monica Casey is live at that scene right now. Monica, police were there investigating for hours after this happened.
That's right. More than 24 hours after police were on scene, it's clear now, but you can see the caution tape, the crime scene tape still remaining here through these trees. Now, the car that Wardlow and Morgan were found in was down over here at the end of this street. 16-year-old Wardlow was a student at Discovery Charter School in Durham with big basketball dreams. That school has now created a GoFundMe to help Wardlow's family with funeral expenses. It has already raised over $2,500. In a letter to families, that school says Zakira was often called Z, and she had quickly integrated into their school community, even though she'd only been there for a year. Radio traffic from the shooting indicates shots were heard Sunday night, but Wardlow and Morgan weren't found until early yesterday morning. Now, Hillsborough police have not released word of any arrests in this case. We do know that the SBI is assisting with this investigation here. Live in Hillsborough, Monica Casey, WRAL News.
New this noon, we now know the names of two people who died after a reported hit and run in Chapel Hill that led to a chase in Carrboro. Police say neither the driver, Lawrence Edwards, nor his passenger, Jonathan Blancett, were wearing seatbelts. Carrboro police say this all started just before 5. A Chapel Hill officer tried to stop the car, but Edwards did not pull over. Instead, he sped away and crashed into a tree near Oak Avenue and East Poplar Avenue. The initial hit-and-run investigation is ongoing.
Seoul rang in the new year with more subdued celebrations following the Jeju airplane crash earlier this week.
3, 2, 1.
American investigators are now on the ground in South Korea to help determine what happened in a plane crash that claimed 179 lives. NBC's Steve Patterson is there, and we've learned that most of the victims have now been identified.
So the grim, heartbreaking task that we've been watching, really the primary task here that has been going on since that crash on Sunday, is now almost completed. We have identified here about 174 out of 179 of the victims, so just 5 remaining as those families await answers. Now we're starting to learn about funerals as the remains, as the bodies are returned to family members. It is something that the government here, that the airlines here has wanted to nail down and do as quickly as possible. It is something that family members have complained about since they've been here, wanting to have that done. Those family members remain in the terminal here at the airport, awaiting any word of identification and then awaiting the remains of those family members. So key, so crucial, so important to them as the country mourns. New Year's Eve celebrations canceled across the country. As this investigation continues, we now know the 2 black boxes on board that aircraft have been recovered. It will take some time to recover the flight data, the voice data from those packages, but they will be a trove of information. As many experts, aviation experts, as many investigators are dialing in on a few things. Why didn't the landing gear appear to deploy? And what about that concrete barrier at the end of the runway that was struck by that plane, creating that fiery explosion? That now is the focus on many people's minds as this investigation is just starting to ramp up. Back to you.
Steve Patterson reporting. Now, back in this country, a private jet carrying the Gonzaga men's basketball team had a close call on the runway. The private jet nearly crossed the runway as another Delta flight was taking off Friday at LAX. You can see the private jet operated by Key Lime Air in the background there. Air traffic controllers told the private jet to stop as the Delta flight took off. The FAA says the jet never crossed the runway edgeline, though. In a statement, Gonzaga says it's grateful everything ended safely and team members were not aware of the situation as it was happening.
Fire investigators are searching for the cause of an early morning fire at a Raleigh apartment building. This was what it looked like when the WRAL Breaking News Tracker arrived on Plainview Drive off Newbern Avenue. Neighbors say a cat may have died. We're working to find out if anyone was hurt or how many people may be impacted. Most of Puerto Rico will be ringing in the new year with no electricity. The widespread outage hit at dawn, and officials say it could take up to 2 days to restore power. It affects 1.3 million customers, which is about 80% of the island. The power company says the outage was likely caused by a problem with an underground power line. Power outages in Puerto Rico are not uncommon due to damage from Hurricane Maria in 2017.
And happening right now in the WRAL Live Center, it's a happy new year for Duke Energy Carolina customers. Rates will start going down tomorrow because of falling natural gas prices. Now, Duke Energy Carolinas, that includes Charlotte, Durham, and the Triad. Duke Energy Progress customers, which includes Asheville, Raleigh, and Eastern North Carolina, they are already benefiting from a rate decrease that began on December 1st.
As 2024 draws to a close, we want to encourage you to donate to WRAL's annual Coats for the Children drive. Today is the last day to do so. I want you to scan that QR code right there on your screen to donate, or go to WRAL.com/coats. You can also drop off a new or gently used coat at participating Jiffy Lube locations.
Next at noon, the iconic ball drop in New York's Times Square will come with increased security. How the NYPD is preparing for tonight's celebration.
Also, the warning from local police about the dangers of celebratory gunfire that claimed lives in recent years.
Plus, RDU is one of the fastest growing airports in the country. Why more airlines are likely to choose the Triangle next year to set up shop.
Keep watching WRAL News over the air Channel 34 and Spectrum Channel 1257.
The countdown is on. In less than 12 hours. The iconic Times Square ball drop takes place in New York City. Of course, this is a live look at the crystal ball. There's an 85% possibility of rain and thunderstorms, though, but more than 1 million people are expected to flood this city. NBC's Emily Akater explains how police are preparing for the celebrations.
In the final countdown to 2025, police are bracing for a tidal wave of tourists from Boston to Atlanta to the center of it all, New York City.
Probably a once-in-a-lifetime thing, right?
And everyone around the world also watches this.
More than 1 million people will flood Times Square to watch the ball drop, already tested and in place. Tonight will cap off the city's second busiest year ever for tourism, according to officials. To secure the area, the NYPD deploying concrete blockades, officers in and out of uniform, K-9 teams, their aviation unit, and drones.
We have been operating in a heightened threat environment since October 7th, and we remain vigilant.
Reinforcing concern over tonight's celebrations is the driver who plowed into a Christmas market in Germany earlier this month. Rebecca Weiner is the NYPD's Deputy Commissioner of Counterterrorism.
We calibrate our counterterrorism overlay based on lessons we learn from incidents, whether they happen here in our city or elsewhere around the world.
Event organizers also taking precautions in the sky. From New York to Texas to South Carolina, some planned drone shows for tonight have been scrapped.
Oh no, I don't think they're supposed to be falling.
After several drones collided and fell at a holiday event in Orlando earlier this month, injuring a 7-year-old boy. This morning, police encouraging the public to stay alert to help bring in the new year safely.
We really do mean it when we say the public is our strongest force multiplier. People notice things, and if they notice them and they tell an officer or call 911, we're all the stronger for it.
That was NBC's Emily Ikeda. You're looking live now at Fayetteville Street, where you can see the Ferris wheel is all ready to go. WRAL First Night Raleigh Family Fun begins in less than 2 hours there. But some choose to ring in the new year by firing celebratory gunshots. It's been a problem in Wake and Durham counties. WRAL's Chelsea Donovan joins us live with the penalties for this crime. And Chelsea, people have died from this.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, as you mentioned, the preparations underway here at First Night, and officials are warning about another event that people like to take part in, and that is celebratory gunfire. If you are caught firing a gun, it's an automatic $500 fine. It's a misdemeanor. But if you're caught firing that gun and it hits, let's say, an occupied car or a house, it's a much stiffer felony. We're talking about serious felonies, and of course, even if it hits a person. Now, each New Year's Eve and even 4th of July, celebratory gunfire keeps law enforcement busy. Wake County averages 20 to 30 shots fired calls every New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. But in Durham County, it's much worse. Listen to this. On January 1st, July 4th, and December 31st of last year, 343 shots fired calls. That's an average of 114 per day, and that accounted for 9% of the city's shot calls back last year. Now, these shots have consequences. They've resulted in 2 homicides in Durham in the last 4.5 years. 74-year-old Paulette Thorpe was struck and killed by a falling bullet. That was on Burlington Avenue on July 4th of 2020. The following year, 73-year-old Dolores Burwell, she was struck and killed by celebratory gunfire on Robin Hood Road on New Year's Eve of 2021.
When you've got people shooting all over the place and bullets can travel blocks, it's hard to find the people who are responsible.
Yeah, it's a hard crime to track down. So obviously the Wake County Sheriff's Office, Durham County Sheriff's Office, really all law enforcement asking you to make sure that your guns are secure and locked properly and to enjoy this holiday responsibly. Live in downtown Raleigh, Chelsea Donovan, WRAL News.
As millions of Americans ring in the new year, they could be treated to more than a fireworks show in the sky. Several other northern states from Alaska to New York could fall within the southern reach of the Northern Lights visibility. The best time to see the aurora is between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m., but could last until January 2nd. Sorry, Raleigh, no luck this time.
Yeah, the last time was October when a lot of folks around the area got to see the Northern Lights here in North Carolina. But no Northern Lights for us. There will be fireworks, though.
There will be. Let's get over to meteorologist Anthony Baglio in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with how this day is going to shape up for our celebrations.
Yeah, the forecast is, of course, of utmost importance for us as we go through the rest of today. Lots of events going on. You can see downtown Raleigh for first night celebrations, at least the setup getting going. This morning, though, if you were up and at 'em really early, we had some fog across the area. We have a time lapse actually of that. So I want to start with this because you can see it was so obscured. If you were up and at 'em early, we had dense fog advisories up until about 10 o'clock this morning. And then once we got through right around when that advisory expired at 10 o'clock, we started to make some progress. So that burned off pretty quickly. But yes, for sure, definitely some interesting fog out there this morning. We are left with a beautiful shot though right now. It is breezy though. You can see the kind of trees blowing around just a little bit. A warm front came through here through the past couple of hours. That will keep our winds a little bit strong as we head through today, but it's really a warming wind. We're not going to see a chill, if you will, with that. It's going to feel pretty good. 23 mile per hour gusts is where we sit right now in Raleigh and Durham. The gust factor, if you will, is in the white box. Southern Pines gusting up to about 15 to 20. Some locations are a little bit calmer, but the majority of us as we go through the remainder of today, about 15 to 20 mile per hour gusts is what we're expecting. We are already, though, check that out. That's 64 degrees in Raleigh, 64 in Durham. We're at 65 in Clinton. I do think we may hit 70 for a place like Clinton, maybe Goldsboro as well. We are likely around the triangle into the upper 60s. So to close out 2024 on that warm of a note, just incredible for us today. 69 degrees there at 3 o'clock, but notice after that cold front, or we had a warm front that came through earlier today, then we're going to have a cold front come through. So we're kind of in a transition zone as we head through the remainder of today. But the cold front is going to take our temperatures down and introduce a chance of some light spotty showers and maybe a thunderstorm as we head through this evening. Looking at the latest models, which we're going to look through together here in a second, it looks like the timing is still between about 6 to 10 p.m. or so. I don't expect any severe weather, but I do think we could see a few thunderstorms. So just something to bear in mind if you're headed out this evening. There's 1 o'clock, though. We start us off here just about now in the next little while. Lots of sunshine, futurecast keeping the moisture back to our west. We get to 7 o'clock tonight. We are still quiet. You can see some of that moisture getting close. I'm going to walk through this, though, hour by hour. There's 8 o'clock in the evening. It keeps some scattered showers and storms mainly from the triangle to the south. So, yes, that could affect Wake County. That could affect First Night. However, watch what happens here as we get. And there's 9 o'clock. It zooms out of here really fast. This is not going to be a lingering system. By the time we get to midnight, we have clear skies across the area and 0 issues. So it's not something I would say change all your plans. It's just something to keep in mind here as we go through the remainder of today. There's the First Night forecast, though. 56 degrees, about a 40% chance early on of some rain. Really starts to taper off and wrap up pretty fast with a temperature of 51 at midnight. We start to get a little bit chilly, though, through the next couple days. Upper 40s by the time we get to Friday. Looking ahead into Sunday night and Monday, the chance you see right now, about 40% Sunday night, Monday. Models are all over the place with that. At this point, I do think Sunday night we may see a rain-snow mix with no accumulation. So that's something we're going to continue to watch. 69 degrees, though, guys, for us through the rest of today, and then some colder weather for 2025.
We'll make the most of this warmth. Anthony, thank you. Coming up during our evening news, starting at 4, skyrocketing insurance premiums for homeowners. 5 on your side explains why this happens and what to do if your homeowner's premium goes through the roof.
Then at 6, after a large brawl at Holly Hill Children's Hospital, we're getting new insights into conditions inside from a former employee. That employee quit shortly before the fight over concerns about her safety. Tonight at 6, she talks to WRAL Investigates about the red flags she claims the hospital leadership ignored.
A new year means making new resolutions. As we wrap up the holiday season, you may feel like you have a debt hangover from all that spending.
Yeah, Jen Sullivan talks to a financial expert on how to boost your savings in 2025.
As we turn the page on a new year, financial experts say now is a great time to reevaluate your budget and add more money to your savings.
Create a budget, to review a budget, and to adjust the budget accordingly.
Mark Hamrick with Bankrate says the first step is to separate spending by want and need. Create a spreadsheet and calculate all housing expenses, whether that's a mortgage, rent, property taxes, and home insurance, utilities, food expenses, car payments, and phone, internet, cable costs. Experts recommend having 3 to 6 months worth of expenses in a savings account. But in a recent Bankrate survey, 56% of Americans say they do not have enough emergency savings to cover 3 months worth of expenses. And over a third of people say they have more credit card debt than emergency savings. Hamrick says if you do have debt, paying it off is crucial.
We just got through the holiday spending season, and many people will be experiencing a New Year's debt hangover at a time when credit card interest rates remain close to record highs.
Hamrick suggests putting money into a high-yield savings account, which means you'll be making higher interest on that money.
You need to shop around for the best rate so that, you're really optimizing how you're putting the money into this account.
We want to know if you plan to make a New Year's resolution, yes or no. Share your voice right now by scanning that QR code on the corner of your screen or go to WRAL.com/yourvoice and we'll share the results before the end of this newscast.
Well, people all around the world are welcoming 2025 with fireworks and fanfare. Soon it'll be our turn. How police hope to ensure the celebration is safe.
Plus, burglary on Britain's Billionaire Row. Detectives are scrambling to find the man behind a $13 million heist. First, here's a look at your winning lottery numbers.
That's enough to get you in the festive mood. Downtown Raleigh will be the place to ring in the new year as we look live down Fayetteville Street this noon hour. As WRAL's Laura Levine shares, there will be music, rides, and a whole lot of entertainment for the whole family.
Excitement is building here in downtown Raleigh on Fayetteville Street for First Night Raleigh. Behind me, you can see crews beginning to unload trucks and prepare for the big day ahead. Food trucks already arriving for the day. Taking a look now at some of the setup and preparation that happened yesterday. Crews worked to get everything up and running outdoors and indoors with this year's amusement rides, which will include a Ferris wheel, of course, and the new downdraft ride, which will swing riders over the streets. Festivities begin at 2 p.m. with the children's celebration between Martin and Morgan Streets. There will also be music in City Plaza. The party continues at 6 p.m. with the People's Procession walking parade. The early countdown and acorn drop will happen in City Plaza at 7 p.m., followed by even more live music and performances. Organizers say there will also be craft activities and other activations throughout downtown.
Oh, it's so festive. And I think what's so special about First Night Raleigh is it's just like, it's this one thing that the whole community can come together on. Everyone loves a fresh start. They love ringing in the New Year's. And it just, when you're out here, you'll feel like everyone in Raleigh is here.
So, of course, this event is free and open to the public if you want to walk along Fayetteville Street here and take in all the sights and sounds. However, if you do want to participate in some of the activities, such as getting on one of the rides, well, you have to purchase a ticket for that. Laura Levine, WRAL News in Raleigh.
And here in the WRAL Live Center, 11 and a half hours. That is the countdown until midnight. And it's going to be a very big party, as Laura was just showing you. And Raleigh Police, they have this number you can text to receive messages about First Night. 888-777 is the number that you can text. And they say that messages may include any unforeseen delays or cancellation to the events and any inclement weather alerts as well. So that's just a really good number to stay informed. 888-777.
Michelle, thanks. So Raleigh has the acorn drop. Mount Olive has the pickle drop. It's happening in Wayne County tonight. The fire department drops the glowing New Year's Eve pickle into a giant pickle jar. So this event is great for people who don't want to stay up until midnight because it starts at 5, the pickle goes into the jar at 7, and everything wraps up around 7:30 with the fireworks show. Over in Vance County, they are dropping a catfish tonight to ring in the new year. It's happening at Satterwhite Point. An 8 to 10 foot metal catfish, all lit up, will be lowered at 7 p.m. The plan is for the sculpture to be placed in a few state parks throughout the year.
Of course, we'll bring you live team coverage from downtown Raleigh from the start of the events this afternoon all the way through midnight. We're talking about Raleigh's First Night. Dan Haggerty and Ashley Rowe will bring you all the fun and excitement from the state's largest New Year's Eve celebration, starting with our 4 p.m. news. Then at 7 p.m., we'll have a special newscast to celebrate with the early children's acorn drop, and of course, followed by fireworks. Then as we count down to midnight, we'll have live coverage on Fox 50 starting at 10. That will continue at 11 right here on WRAL until after midnight. We'll have surprises and some celebrity guests you won't want to miss.
Happening tonight, before the New Year's countdown, downtown Raleigh will host its annual menorah lighting in celebration of Hanukkah. This is video from last year's ceremony. This year's will happen at 6 tonight in front of the Martin Marietta Center for the Performing Arts. Today is Governor Roy Cooper's last day on the job, and then Josh Stein will take over as North Carolina's new governor. Over the last 8 years, Governor Cooper says he followed through on promises like Medicaid expansion, teacher raises, and growing the clean energy economy. Stein will officially be sworn in on January 11th.
Well, several new laws going into effect in North Carolina in 2025 could hit your finances. New car insurance requirements will be the most expensive in the country. The cheapest auto insurance plans are about to nearly double how much they'll pay out for property damage and medical bills. Lots of people are already insured for those higher rates, but if you have a cheaper plan, your bills are probably about to go up. That change was supposed to begin Wednesday, but lawmakers gave drivers an extra 6 months until July. Americans on Medicare will get a big break in 2025. The $2,000 annual cap on out-of-pocket costs for drugs from the pharmacy or through mail order goes into effect. The limit is one of the 2022 Inflation Reduction Act, also including a $35 monthly cap on insulin prescriptions, more vaccines at no cost, and it empowers Medicare to negotiate the prices of certain medications.
It's no secret the Triangle is growing, and so is our airport. 2024 was a big year at RDU. It added new flights, airlines, and restaurants. WRAL's Noah Klein joins us now. Noah, millions of people traveled through the airport this year.
Renee, it's been busy, and let's take a live look now at RDU. You can see the airport even a little busy today as flights get ready to take off. Airport officials say this is the busiest year it's ever had. 15 million people are projected to have flown through in just the last 365 days. Now, you mentioned airlines. This year, RDU added 5 new ones, bringing, of course, new nonstop flights with it. It also expanded international travel, adding its now farthest nonstop destination to Frankfurt, Germany, along with flights to Mexico City, Vancouver, the DR, Jamaica, Panama, and Bermuda. If you've parked at the airport, you might have noticed these lights in the garage. This new parking guidance system lets you know quickly what's open and what's not when it comes to finding that perfect parking spot before your flight. Park Economy 3 is also expanding to add 7,000 more spaces. RDU also added 3 new restaurants this year, the first of more than a dozen new dining options coming to Terminals 1 and 2. One features a local 5-time James Beard Award nominee, Chef Scott Crawford. Go get you some of that. The airport is also still working on replacing one of its runways. When that project is done, it's going to be the main way planes take off to the West Coast and any transatlantic flights. RDU is replacing it after 40 years.
And back here in the WRAL Live Center, the North Carolina State Veterans Home at Fayetteville may not be closing as planned. Instead, it's going to be renovated. The NC Department of Military and Veterans Affairs Secretary recommended this, saying it's the best option for veterans there and also taxpayers. The building was flooded during Hurricane Matthew, leading to structural problems and mold. Other options they were considering were rebuilding and also relocating the home. The closure would have impacted dozens of veterans there.
All right, new year, new goals. How to make lifestyle changes that stick.
And how has it been 25 years since Y2K? Do you remember the anxiety and the panic buying? A look back at the meltdown. That never happened. Keep up with breaking news and headlines with the WRAL News app. Download the newest version for a more streamlined and customized experience.
North Carolina's film industry brought in more than $302 million this year. It's the second highest total since 2015. This year, more than 55 productions filmed across the state, creating nearly 97,000 jobs. Now, some of the TV shows filmed in the state include The Summer I Turned Pretty, Battle on the Beach, and Blue Ridge. According to the North Carolina Film Office, dozens of projects are already in the pipeline for the new year. Well, if you take toll roads like NC 540 or 885, those tolls are about to go up by a few cents per trip this coming year. And make sure to pay your bill. Higher late fees are on their way as well.
Police in the UK are searching for a lone wolf behind one of the biggest thefts from a house in British history. This happened at a 5-story mansion on one of Britain's wealthiest addresses. Police say about 8 people, including staff and family members, were home at the time. Officers say the masked man stole more than $13 million in jewels and designer handbags in under 20 minutes. The family is offering a $600,000 reward for his arrest. New Year's Day 2025 will mark the 25th anniversary of Y2K. Y2K was the term used for a widespread computer bug that was expected to crash computers when the year 1999 turned into 2000. And then President Bill Clinton said everything would be fine and there would be, quote, no major national breakdowns. Despite that, tech companies spent billions of dollars on updates, and millions of Americans stocked up on food, toilet paper, and other goods just in case. Needless to say, everything was fine once the clock struck midnight for the first day of 2000.
I remember that time well. Well, so goodbye and good riddance to resolutions, the steps you can take to improve your life in the new year.
Also, Hermes has the Birkin bag, and now Walmart has the Workin bag. Just like the high-dollar handbag, you'll have to wait to get your hands on this budget-friendly alternative. Welcoming the new year means a fresh start, but sticking to your resolutions, that can be challenging.
Oh, another ballgame. Kevin Uretsky spoke with a psychology expert who says setting attainable goals that can lead to lifestyle changes may be a better strategy.
The excitement surrounding the new year can put folks in a tizzy as they craft resolutions they hope to achieve. But creating new habits takes time. You've heard the saying, Rome wasn't built in a day.
And we know that consistency and some time, so doing that new habit regularly for the first month will really help it become a part of your life.
That's why some psychologists suggest aiming for lifestyle adjustments instead of resolutions to really help cement the changes you seek.
So rather than a resolution, which is something you're kind of holding as this thing you must achieve, a lifestyle goal is something that you incorporate into your life. So it becomes part of what you do.
So, where do you start?
It's important to think of where are you now and what are some small steps towards what your ideal is.
Then you'll want to take a slow and steady approach and look to accomplish realistic tasks instead of lofty ambitions.
If it's getting 15 minutes more sleep every day or going to bed a few minutes early, if you want to start meditating, it may not be committing to an hour-long meditation session. It might be 2 minutes every morning just to try this new habit.
And as you work towards making lifestyle changes, mental health experts say you should be kind to yourself if you stumble along the way.
There will be errors, and it's through those errors and challenges we can learn, we try again.
Some good advice there from Kevin Uretsky reporting. Now, if eating well and exercising on the top of our list or your list, experts recommend that you be realistic and specific. Rather than saying you want to lose weight, define exactly how much weight you want to lose. Don't just say you want to exercise more. Make a commitment to exercise for 30 minutes, 5 days a week. Be specific. If healthy eating is your goal, that doesn't mean you have to give up all the good stuff that you love to eat. Try making 1 or 2 small changes at a time.
So that brings us to our question of the day. Earlier, we asked in this newscast, are you making a New Year's resolution? And 100% of you said, no, not doing it.
What?
I am in that camp as well. Not going to do it. It's okay. I'll set goals.
Right.
You know, that's fine. It's something about a resolution that I feel like it just sets you up for disappointment.
So I'm changing my resolution to a goal then. My goal is to keep learning how to play the guitar.
All right.
And get better at it.
Or get 15 more minutes of sleep. Not happening.
Exactly.
Every day.
We'll continue to collect answers throughout the day to share this with your friends. Just scan the QR code on your screen or head to WRAL.com/yourvoice.
We will resolve to enjoy this beautiful weather.
Exactly.
60s, to end the old year and then welcome in the new, Anthony.
It's going to be beautiful for us. Yeah, that's a good way to start the new year for. But then as we get into next weekend, I will say, looking at some of the longer range models, we're going to have some chilly air that starts to come in. So if you like today's temperatures, how it feels already outside, you are certainly going to want to go outside and enjoy it. It is the warmest out of the next 7 by far, and it might be the warmest out of the next couple of weeks, I would say at least. Where we sit right now, though, let's talk about this. So we have a warm front that came through earlier today. That's why it's a little bit breezy outside. I have a couple things on this map. So we have the wind speeds kind of outlined in those white little barbs. They're coming mainly out of the south now that that warm front has passed. There's a cold front that's going to come through this evening, and you can see that switch over to our wind speeds behind that cold front. That's going to bring a slight chance for some showers and storms for us closer to this evening. You can see where this green kind of outline, if you will, on the back layer of this map is right now. That's the severe potential today. So that is out of our viewing area. We're not expecting any severe weather, but I do think we could see a few thunderstorms this evening. So it could still be a little bit inconvenient for any of those New Year's celebrations, which we'll walk through here in just a second. Our wind speeds at the moment, the current wind speed is outlined there in the blue box. The gust is in the white box. So we're gusting up to about 20 to 25 miles an hour for some of us, and it will still be a little bit blustery as we go through the rest of today. Look at temperatures, though. I mean, we're at 64 already in Raleigh and Durham. We have a long ways to go here as far as the rest of today to get those temperatures to warm up a little bit more. 63 there in Rocky Mount, 59 in Roxborough. Sorry, I don't think we're going to quite hit the 70-degree mark there, but I do think some of our southern counties may get close to that. I have us right about 69 there in the Triangle, but then for this evening, we mentioned the cold front coming through. You can noticeably see those temperatures dropping off as that cold front comes through, but you also see the rain icons, and I know that that's concerning with all of the events going going on, you think, oh, is my event going to be canceled or anything like that? Let's talk about that on Futurecast, because at the moment, yes, we have the potential for some showers and storms. I would not change your plans, though. It looks light enough and quick, I should say, moving relatively quick as we go through this evening, that it's going to get out of here pretty fast. Here is a look at 8 o'clock this evening, though. You notice we do have some showers and storms showing up on this model from the triangle to the south. Our northern counties have that potential, but this model is still showing, generally speaking, from the triangle to the south. 9 o'clock, it's east of Wake County, and then we clear out big time by the time we get to midnight. No rain at midnight. We should see clearing skies and temperatures in the 50s, I would say. So all in all, looking pretty good. Early on, we'll keep that 30-40% chance. 60 degrees there at 6 o'clock. We go to 54 at 10. We're looking pretty good, though, overall, but I just want to caution, if you're headed out, we can't completely rule out an isolated shower or storm. 69 degrees for us today. That is it as far as warm days in our 7-day forecast. 55 tomorrow, 48 on Thursday, and then as we head into next weekend, Renee and Ken, we may struggle to get out of the 30s as we head into Saturday. So definitely North Carolina weather.
Absolutely. Anthony, thanks. The Beehive is buzzing over the hat Beyonce wore during her Christmas Day halftime performance. How two sisters are bridging tradition and innovation with iconic pieces.
Here's a look at the winning Powerball numbers: 9, 19, 33, 38, 39, and the Powerball is 1. The multiplier is 3. As we wrap things up, here's a look at a few of the headlines we're following today. 2 families are mourning and grieving and asking for answers after a double homicide in Hillsborough. 16-year-old Zakira Wardlow and 20-year-old DeAnthony Morgan were found shot yesterday morning. Wardlow was a student at Discovery Charter School in Durham. The school has created a GoFundMe to help her family with funeral expenses.
Today is Governor Roy Cooper's last day on the job. Over the last 8 years, Governor Cooper says he followed through on promises like Medicaid expansion, teacher raises, and growing the clean energy economy. Josh Stein will officially be inaugurated on January 11th.
Get ready for WRAL First Night Raleigh. We'll bring you live team coverage from the start of the events this afternoon all the way through midnight. Dan Haggerty and Ashley Rowe will bring you the fun and excitement from the state's largest New Year's Eve celebration, starting on our 4 p.m. news. Then at 7 p.m., we'll have a special newscast to celebrate with the early Children's Acorn Drop and fireworks.
Two sisters are gaining notoriety for one of the most talked about accessories this holiday season. People are still buzzing over the iconic white hat Beyonce wore during her halftime performance during the Christmas Day game between the Houston Texans and the Baltimore Ravens. The sisters who created the cowboy hat are Texas natives who now live in Los Angeles. The hat was made using sustainable materials such as cruelty-free 100% virgin wool. The designers say the hat pays homage to their grandparents.
Walmart is enjoying big sales with a knockoff of a fashion accessory. The Workin bag is a huge hit with financially conscious consumers. So the Workin has a striking resemblance to the Birkin bag. However, there's a major difference between the two bags: the ticket price. So Workins can be found on Walmart's website for about $78. Let's just call it $80. Walmart's version became so viral that it sold out. No word on whether it will return. Meanwhile, Birkins are thousands, tens of thousands of dollars.
Big time. Well, it's a medium energy boy from the Wake County Animal Shelter is our pet of the day. Meet Franklin. This 1-year-old will be a great adventure buddy for someone who values an active outdoor lifestyle. Although he is heartworm positive, it is treatable. The Wake Friends of Wake County Animal Center has provided a $400 sponsorship to help cover the cost of treatment. Email the address on your screen to learn more about Franklin.